I read Gwyneth Paltrow's biography, or no, a book that a guy wrote about her, like a very in-depth book about her. And that was one thing that really stood out to me, is that you know, she's talking about like the experience of wearing this fat suit, and because she was in that movie, and so she's going out in public and she's talking about it afterwards, and she's describing how people just look through you, people don't pay attention to you, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm kind of thinking in my head, I'm like, that's amazing that she had to put on this giant prosthetic suit in order to have the experience that nearly all of us have everywhere we go. Imagine being a guy in a bar trying to get noticed. But like, you know, for someone like her, she had no idea what level of privilege that she was kind of living with up until the moment that, you know, in her case, she had to put on this giant prosthetic suit.
And who would have thought that later in life she would be making a vagina candle?
Exactly. Yeah.
Have you tried the candle?
I haven't tried the candle, but I do order Goop food off Postmates, which I honestly feel like is some of the healthiest, best food on Postmates.
Candle smells like tuna. Anyways.
Wait, you really got it?
I didn't get it. But it's so funny. It's so funny you do mention that, because Shallow Hell by the Farrelly brothers. So Adam, this is great. A week before the murders even happened, a week before, I've got friends that I'd hang out with. One of the guys I hung out with was Aaron Meyerson. Aaron was a producer at New Line Cinema, an executive. Now, I had done, you know, some commercials. I had my SAG card now for over 40 years. Aaron was a good buddy. We had another friend of mine named Dan Loeb. Dan Loeb is probably one of the richest people in America for sure.
Doing
what? Third hedge funds. He lives in New York. Now, I understand that this is 1993. Hanging out with these guys, we'd go to, you know, this thing that single guys do. We go to Rebecca's in Venice. So he gives me a script. He goes, "You got to read this script. We have to put you in this." So he gives me the script in 1993. I read for it. They film me. They test me. Murders happened a week later. That was Dumb and Dumber. I was reading.
Really?
So, yeah, the Farrellys golf with them at a Bill Murray tournament. Told them this story. They said, "Fucking Kato, this is the best story." So they saw the tape. I say, "Yeah, Rick Montgomery cast it. You guys have the tape." They want to just keep it, trying to find if it's in a vault.
Wow.
So my whole life kind of stopped. But it's amazing that there's so much parallels in life of like I said, why is it happening? Because I was so hot. When I say hot, no one wanted to touch me. Like, but I think in everybody's life, your life, and everybody in the studio, you got like this blueprint, I believe, in life. It's going to be like, this is what your life is going to be. You're not going to get that, but maybe in 30 years, you're going to have something different, and you have to do the wait. But I believe that you have a blueprint in your life. You're going to live, and then you die.
Okay, so being in the situation that you randomly happened to be in, that landed in the situation where you're becoming like a notorious celebrity.
Yeah.
If you had a pie graph, gift and a curse, what percentage gift, what percentage curse?
50-50, and I'll tell you why. It's 50-50 because it's a double-edged sword. It opened a door. I mean, I came from Wisconsin. My whole dream was, hey, everybody wants to be famous.
Right.
I got famous for the wrong reasons, but I've always admitted it. I'm famous for completely wrong reasons. But I went to an acting academy. I've done all that stuff, but it just didn't work out for me to get what I was striving for. I was reading for something that would, you know, I'm not saying I'd get the part of Daniel's role, but the hair I had, that whole look just wasn't meant to be for me. And now I'm doing true crime podcast, and I've never wanted to embrace it. Now I have to embrace it. Now I'm getting public speaking and doing your show, and just so that's kind of opened up. But I understand when people make fun of me, and trust me, I just have been doing these interviews recently. I'm from Milwaukee, and the Brewers are playing the Dodgers, the whole thing, and I'm doing the affiliates because I'm from there and they know I'm here. So I do the interviews and they put it on TV. So I see some of the comments and I can't read them because some of them are great and some of them just, you know, just make fun of me and people I don't know. And it does affect me. So I say, I'm not even going to read this stuff. And it's like a lot of views and that are watching these segments.
Yeah.
So it's devastating. And I'm from there, so I love where I'm from. I mean, you got to embrace where you're from. I love being from Wisconsin. I love being from Milwaukee.
I mean, yeah, because that's the weird thing about being famous now versus being famous, 20, 30 years ago, is that at that time, you just didn't have access to all these different people who had their own personal platform where they could tee off on you and create conspiracy theories about you, et cetera. And so how is that from your perspective, in the sense that if people were going to have an opinion about you and you were going to learn about it, you had to basically either see them in public. Maybe somebody writes a letter to Time magazine saying, "Hey, Kato Kaelin," or something.
Oh, yeah,
But
well, that happens.
it's totally different now, like versus then.
Yeah, so you're saying then, so I get this right. You're saying back then they could damn you much easier than today.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was much easier to align and figure out one common narrative, whereas now everything is kind of split.
Oh yeah. I mean, the LA Times, they had some stuff that was written about me. I got to write an editorial off that of explaining my side. And yeah, I was just, the butt of jokes, and it was a different time. It was Leno and Letterman, and Leno more the mean-spirited, Leno mean-spirited, Letterman very funny when doing those shows. So it's different. But I always laugh at myself. I really didn't take it anything serious.
Right.
I just it's hard not to be affected by people that are negative on you. And it hurt there's nothing I could get. It was hard to get work.
Yeah.
But I did get the radio show with Stern. Stern was before me, then I was on the radio show. But I was on the same program with him. Yeah. He was first, and I was came up after. And even he would just say the worst things to get me fired. And, I had security because there was death threats.
Really? It was that bad at one point?
Oh, my, yeah. I mean, LA was a 94, 95. It was, like I said, people had their opinions of either loving you or hating you, and they would just come right in your face.
It's just wild because I can't think of what the negative opinion of you would be. It's like really nothing to go on. But I guess maybe they thought you were involved at one point. Now it seems like very like settled. Like we pretty much know what happened.
Yeah.
I guess at one point maybe they're thinking like, oh, this is Nicole's boyfriend. This is.
It would never touch Nicole, and she was great. It's amazing because Nicole at the time was dating. Met her through an Aspen. Real quick story. I was in Aspen with Grant Kramer, great guy. He was on General Hospital. He was Hard Bodies. He was a lead. He was a stud. They had done celebrity things together before, skiing and that. Their eyes connected in Aspen. She was divorced from OJ. They start dating. He and I worked together in a casting agency. We're very close buddies. So that's my thing. I was the third wheel. I was the third wheel in their dates, making her laugh. So that's it. Never interested in being a friend, but never sexually anything. And then it just wasn't my style.
Which is like, when you're in the media, it's very hard for people to process that, If I had just some random female friend who was super hot and we kicked it and hung out, whatever, I mean, it's just, there's no way you're going to be able to avoid the narrative of they are having sex. They are secretly having sex. I'm 100% sure because I saw a photo of them standing next to each other.
100%. And back in those days, there was Hard Copy and Current Affairs now. And that's the shows that killed me because they would say there's a drug connection. I don't do drugs, never did a drug. Don't hold me against me. I just don't. I don't need it. And they did all these stories about me being this person I wasn't. So that affected me. And when you defend yourself, it makes it worse for you. You just got to take it in, and you could say, hey, I don't do this, because people will just go, oh, he's so full of it. What a liar. They don't know you, but that's how.
And they assume he's in Hollywood. He's in a rich part of LA.
Yeah.
Of course, he's doing coke. Everybody's doing coke and Hollywood. Like people in like middle of America, I think that like that.
Oh my.
They like to have their conspiracies about the coasts a little bit